Mia! Open the damn door! Ethan's voice cracked against the marble walls, a frantic echo swallowed by silence. His knuckles bled against the lock that refused to turn. The baby monitor on the counter hissed static. No cry, no sound, just white noise and the faint hum of a lullaby still looping in the nursery upstairs. His phone buzzed again. Tessa, can't wait to see you again. Same time tomorrow? Ethan froze. The words blurred, the crib empty, the note folded once, deliberate. Don't come looking. We're safe. Something inside him broke before he even realized what it meant. The house was too quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like punishment. The realization hit him like a thunderclap. Mia was gone, and she wasn't coming back. Where the hell is she? Ethan Cole pounded on the front door of his Beverly Hills mansion, his knuckles white with frustration. Mia! Mia! His voice echoed off the marble floors. The silence that answered, sending an icy chill through his veins. The usual hum of baby Lucas's cry, the soft shuffle of Mia's footsteps, nothing. The house was still. Too still. He rushed through the entryway, heart racing, every second heavier than the last. Mia, where are you? He turned the corner into the living room and froze. The key bowl was empty. No purse, no shoes. By the door, Mia's car. Gone. His stomach dropped. His phone buzzed, and his breath caught. A message from Tessa, the mistress he thought had kept him hidden. Same time tomorrow, baby. His heart slammed against his ribs. No. This wasn't just about a missing wife and child. This was worse. He turned to the door again. In a haze of disbelief, his eyes landed on a note. No signature, just a single line. Don't come looking. We're safe. The weight of it struck him like a hammer. Mia had left, and she had taken Lucas with her. Welcome back, my beautiful family and friends. Oh, how I've missed you. It's been a rough stretch with all the tech chaos, but by God's grace, we're finally steady again. Thank you for waiting, for returning, for standing with me. You're the reason this channel still breathes. Before we start, let me speak a blessing over you. To the women, may God quiet every storm in your heart and cover you in uncommon favor. To the men, may He guide your steps, multiply your strength, and open doors no one can close. And may His protection rest over you all. Amen. Now, family, one quick thing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. Not out of routine, but because every story I tell here is for you. When you're not subscribed, it's like I'm whispering into the dark, wondering if my people can even hear me. My USA family, my UK family, you're the heartbeat of this channel. When you subscribe, you keep it alive. When you don't, I feel that silence. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming tomorrow. So hit subscribe, drop a comment, and tell me where you're watching from. Let me know you're here. Now, let's dive into today's story. As Ethan stood there, frozen, the weight of his own failures crashed over him. The house felt like a stranger's home now, the absence of his family echoing louder than the silence around him. The questions pounded in his mind. Where had Mia gone? What had she discovered? And why hadn't he noticed the signs? The realization gnawed at him, dragging him back to the beginning. Back to a time when things felt simple, when Mia was still his everything, before he allowed the dark side of his ambition to swallow up his responsibilities. This was the price of that neglect. And Ethan knew, as the doors to his perfect life slammed shut, that he was about to find out exactly what his choices had cost him. The emptiness of the house was suffocating. Ethan's hands trembled slightly as he reached out, placing them on the cold marble counter. The house, which had once felt like a sanctuary, now felt like a tomb. Every creak of the floor beneath his feet sounded like a warning, each passing second more unsettling than the last. He wanted to call out for Mia, but he couldn't. He already knew no one would answer. He needed to understand what had happened. How had everything unraveled so quickly? Ethan turned toward the kitchen. The light from the living room cast a soft glow on the counters, but it did little to chase away the shadows in his mind. He walked past the family room, his eyes darting to the dark corners where the remnants of their life together once lived. The framed photos on the wall, the throw pillows Mia had picked out, the small touches she'd left to make the space warm, they all seemed like ghosts now. He had taken it all for granted. Every moment, every day, the empty room whispered back at him. He moved through the house in a haze, opening doors, searching for any sign of life, but each room was as cold and vacant as the last. The nursery door stood ajar, and for a moment he hesitated before stepping inside. It had been Lucas's room, his son's room, and now it felt more like a museum than a place where a family had lived. A mobile Mia had hung above the crib, gently swayed, as though touched by an unseen hand. The soft light from the nightlight made the walls seem alive, yet the absence of their baby boy turned the warmth of the space into something foreign. Ethan stepped inside, his chest tight, and glanced at the crib. It was empty. The soft scent of lavender lingered in the air, the same scent that Mia had used to calm Lucas after a long night of crying. How could she just leave? How had everything changed so fast? Ethan's chest tightened with a painful ache. He reached out, his fingers brushing against the baby's blanket, but it felt like it belonged to someone else. The emptiness in the room seemed to press against him, suffocating him. He closed his eyes for a moment, but the reality kept pushing its way in. Mia was gone. Lucas was gone, and he had no idea why. The feeling of panic began to creep in, gnawing at his insides, as he made his way down the hallway to the study. He wasn't ready to face the cold truth of what he'd done. The weight of the betrayal felt heavier with each passing second. He could feel his heart racing, his pulse quickening as he tried to piece together the wreckage he'd created. He opened the study door. The familiar smell of leather-bound books and the scent of freshly brewed coffee, the things that once brought him comfort, now made his stomach twist with unease. He looked around, his eyes scanning the room. The desk was neat, the papers stacked in perfect order. But Mia's absence left a mark. She used to sit here, working alongside him, flipping through documents, chatting about the mundane details of their day. But now, the only sound was the hum of the house's heating system, and then he saw it, a folder left half open on the desk. Ethan's hand froze above it. He hadn't meant to look through anything, hadn't meant to find what was buried beneath the surface, but his fingers moved of their own accord, reaching for the documents. Bank statements, transaction records. His heart skipped a beat as he flipped through the pages. On the surface, everything looked normal, until he saw the line that made his blood run cold. Payments. Payments to Tessa Ramirez's marketing firm, his company's account, and the amounts substantial sums of money, far beyond what could be justified as legitimate business expenses. Ethan's breath caught in his throat as the truth settled like a heavy stone in his stomach. He had always been careful no one could have known about his affair with Tessa. No one except Mia. How had she found out? The payments were a trail, a breadcrumb path that led right to him. Mia must have found them. The realization slammed into him like a freight train. She didn't leave because of a simple fight. No, Mia had left because she had uncovered the truth about him, the truth he had been hiding for months. She knew about the affair. She knew about the money he had been siphoning off, using his business as a cover-up for his personal life. Ethan stumbled back, the full weight of the betrayal crashing over him. He could feel the walls closing in. He had never thought it would come to this. He had thought he could hide it, that his success, his charm, would be enough to keep it all under wraps. But Mia had been smarter than he gave her credit for. She had seen the cracks in the life they built long before he did. And now, he was left standing in the aftermath of it all, unable to undo what had been done. The cold truth was inescapable. Ethan had lost everything. As he sat there, his hands trembling, he couldn't help but wonder, was it too late for him? Was there any chance he could fix the pieces of his shattered life, or had he ruined everything beyond repair? He had always believed in second chances, but could he earn one? Or was he about to face the consequences of the choices he had made? Do you believe in second chances? Is it too late for Ethan to fix what's broken? Asterisk. Ethan sat in the study, the faint hum of the air conditioning the only sound breaking the silence. His hands rested on the desk, and his eyes were fixed on the bank statements that had shattered everything he once held dear. But his mind wasn't on the numbers anymore. It was drifting back to better times, to moments when things had felt right. He closed his eyes, and the memories hit him times their first anniversary *, a dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant. Mia had looked radiant, her smile as effortless as always. They had laughed, talked about their future, their baby shower, a moment filled with hope and excitement, the glow of pregnancy bright on Mia's face. Lucas's birth, the moment he should have been there for, but was stuck in an important meeting, justifying his absence with work. In each memory, Ethan could see the cracks forming, the things he hadn't noticed. Mia had always been there, always supporting him, but he hadn't returned the favor. He'd been too focused on building his empire, too consumed with proving his worth to the world. The long hours, the missed calls, the last-minute cancellations, he had justified it all, assuming Mia would understand. After all, he was doing it all for them, wasn't he? But as the memories faded, the guilt returned. Ethan swallowed hard. He had failed her. He picked up his phone, scrolling through old messages, when one from Tessa caught his eye. "Same time next week." The casual tone sent a jolt through him. Mia had known. She'd known for a long time, but now, because of his selfish choices, she was gone. Sometimes the ones you hurt the most are the ones who love you the deepest. Do you think Mia's decision was justified? Now subscribe before it's too late. Ethan's fingers trembled as he unlocked his phone, half hoping for some sign of Mia. A missed message, a call, something to explain her disappearance. But instead, his screen lit up with a new text from Tessa. "Can't wait to see you again. Same time tomorrow?" The words hit him like a slap. He had spent the night with Tessa. He had chosen her over his family, over Mia. Yet here he was, left with nothing but the hollow echo of his mistakes. A wave of nausea washed over him. The reality he'd buried deep inside came rushing to the surface. He could already feel the tightness in his chest as he scrolled through the other messages, casual, intimate, routine exchanges that had been the fabric of his deceit. But then, something caught his eye, a series of business-related texts that weren't about their affair, but something more. Tessa had sent him an invoice for marketing services that didn't seem to match anything his company needed. Ethan's heart pounded. He opened the attachments. Invoices, payments made through his company's account, massive sums of money flowing to Tessa's business. His stomach twisted as the truth sank in. He hadn't just been using his affair to escape his marriage. He had been using company funds to finance it. Ethan's mind reeled as he grasped the extent of his betrayal. This was no longer just about his infidelity. This was financial misconduct. Lying to everyone around him, including Mia. Do you ever wonder how far someone can be pushed before they break? Is it too late for Ethan to fix his mistakes? Fix your mistake by subscribing. Family *. Mia sat quietly at her mother's kitchen table. The phone pressed to her ear as she stared out the window. The warm sunlight filtered through the curtains, but it did little to soften the weight in her chest. Her thoughts were clear, focused. She wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She was calm, methodical. In the wake of Ethan's betrayal, Mia was taking control of her life for the first time in years. She hadn't realized until now how much she had let slip away. Years of Ethan's neglect, his empty promises, and his emotional absence had worn her down. But she wasn't going to let him do this to her anymore. Not after everything she had sacrificed for him. Not after everything she had put up with. "Naomi," she said, her voice steady. "It's time." Naomi, a lawyer and friend, didn't need any explanation. "You're ready?" Naomi asked, the calm support in her voice comforting yet firm. "I am," Mia replied. "It's time to protect Lucas and myself." The conversation shifted to logistics, divorce papers, custody arrangements, and a plan. Naomi's voice was a lifeline, guiding Mia through the next steps. A legal battle for custody was looming, but Mia knew she had the upper hand. She ended the call, and with a quiet resolve, Mia began to gather the evidence she had been avoiding. The bank statements, the texts, the receipts, each document a reminder of the man Ethan had become, each one another piece of the story she had been too blind to see before. She was no longer just a wife. She was a mother. And she was done being invisible. Asterisk, what would you do if you found out everything you believed in was a lie? Asterisk, Ethan's fingers flew across the keyboard, the need for answers burning in his chest. The house felt colder than ever, as though the walls themselves were pressing in on him. He clicked through files, opening every folder on his laptop, searching for anything that could give him a clue, anything that could explain where Mia had gone, why she had left. And then, buried in the farthest corner of his documents, he found it, a hidden folder. The file was encrypted, but his gut twisted as he clicked it open. Inside, the emails began to load, one after the other, each one more damning than the last. His eyes scanned quickly, a sick feeling settling in his stomach as he read through them. The emails were from Tessa, nothing but business correspondence, or so it seemed at first. But the deeper he dug, the more he saw the truth he had been running from. The messages weren't just about their affair. They were about him, about his finances, about the money he had been funneling through his company to cover their personal expenses. His heart sank as he pieced it all together. This wasn't just an affair. This was a calculated, financial scheme. Money moved under the guise of business. He had betrayed Mia in ways he never even realized. Mia hadn't just left him for the affair. She had left because of everything. Because of the lies he had spun, the deception that had poisoned their life. His empire, the life he thought he controlled, was unraveling before his eyes. Mia had known it all along. And now, Ethan knew she would never come back. Asterisk. Is it possible to fix something that's already broken beyond repair? Asterisk. Mia had moved out, her life now divided from Ethan's, and their son Lucas was with her. Ethan couldn't breathe as the reality of his new life settled in. The house, once full of life and laughter, now felt like a hollow shell. He could almost hear Mia's footsteps echoing through the empty halls, except now they were gone. His desperation had led him to hire a private investigator. The days blurred together as he obsessed over finding Mia, over bringing her back into his life. But no matter how many calls he made, no matter how many times he tried to plan his next move, something gnawed at him, guilt. It was choking him, suffocating every ounce of rational thought. His wealth, his empire, meant nothing now. None of it could undo the damage he'd done. None of it would bring Mia back. Every moment he spent focusing on tracking her down felt like a waste. She was already gone, and he knew it. The ringing of his phone pulled him out of his spiraling thoughts. It was Naomi. She didn't waste time with pleasantries. Ethan, Mia's filed for divorce, she said, her voice calm but firm, and she's seeking full custody of Lucas. The papers have already been served. His stomach dropped. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Divorce, custody. He was losing everything. All his power, all his control, it had all been an illusion. The one thing he couldn't control was slipping away from him, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Asterisk. How far would you go to protect the family you've wronged? Asterisk. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he stood outside the small cafe, the wind biting at his skin. Mia had agreed to meet him, and he had prayed for this moment, but now that it was here, he wished he could turn back time. He had no idea what to expect, but he knew one thing for sure. Mia was not the same woman who had left him weeks ago. She was already seated when he arrived, her posture straight, calm, but there was an unmistakable coldness in her eyes. The warmth that used to radiate from her was gone, replaced by an air of finality. Ethan sat down across from her, but his words caught in his throat. Mia didn't waste time with small talk. I know everything, Ethan, she said, her voice steady but cutting through the tension between them like a blade. The affair, the money you funneled to Tessa, the lies you told me. Ethan opened his mouth to apologize, to beg her for a chance, but the words felt empty before they left his lips. Mia's gaze didn't falter. She was resolute. And in that moment, Ethan realized something he hadn't yet fully accepted. Mia wasn't here for reconciliation. "I'm not fighting you out of anger," Mia continued, her voice a soft whisper now. "I'm fighting for Lucas's future, for the life he deserves. And I can't do that with you anymore." The finality in her words sank into him like a weight, and for the first time he understood. Mia had made her decision. She was done. Asterisk. Do you think Ethan deserves a second chance? Or is it too late for redemption? Asterisk. Asterisk redemption is subscribing to my channel. Family asterisk. The courtroom was silent, except for the soft shuffle of papers and the occasional rustling of a chair. Ethan sat in his seat, the weight of the last few months pressing down on him like a vice. His hands were clenched, his knuckles white. His eyes never strayed from the front of the room, where Mia sat, calm and composed, a lawyer by her side. She looked nothing like the woman he had once known. She was stronger now, more assured. Ethan had always been able to manipulate situations, bend them to his will. But not this time. The evidence was damning: his affair with Tessa, the financial misconduct, the long hours he had spent neglecting Mia and their family. The documents stacked against him, each one a reminder of how far he had fallen. Mia's lawyer spoke with confidence, and with every word, the reality of his situation became clearer. Ethan had spent his life building an empire, but now that empire was crumbling, piece by piece. He couldn't shake the nagging thought that it didn't matter how many zeros were in his bank account. None of that mattered now. Mia's voice was steady when she spoke, but it carried an undeniable strength. She didn't shout, didn't accuse. She simply laid out the facts, the betrayal, the lies, the emotional abandonment. She spoke of the future she envisioned for Lucas, one that was stable and filled with love, not the chaos Ethan had created. She had fought for this moment not out of anger, but out of a deep desire to give their son the life he deserved. The judge turned to Ethan, giving him one last chance to speak, but words failed him. He knew what was coming. His empire, once full of promise, was now nothing but a hollow shell. Mia had won. Lucas would grow up with her, in a safe and loving home, far from the mistakes Ethan had made. The gavel came down, and with it, the finality of his failure. Ethan stood, motionless, as the courtroom buzzed around him. He had lost everything. Mia, Lucas, the life he had taken for granted. Now, all that remained were the consequences of his actions. Sometimes the hardest part isn't losing someone. It's realizing you were the one who pushed them away. Will you learn from this story, or let history repeat itself? Asterisk. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out, and do well to click on the subscribe button and turn on notifications for the next story.